Linus Pauling. Drink this before meals so that your cells live twice as long. Have you ever felt that subtle pulse of curiosity when reading about someone who transcends the boundaries of normal health, living more vibrantly than their peers, seeming to age half as fast? Imagine stepping into a time machine back to the mid-20th century, walking into a cluttered laboratory where beakers of vitamins and minerals line the benches, and in the center stands Linus Pauling, already a Nobel laureate for his groundbreaking work on the nature of the chemical bond, yet also on the cusp of a controversial new frontier, using nutrients to dramatically prolong human vitality. Now picture him leaning over a glass, swirling a peculiar concoction he insists you drink before each meal. His voice, calm but brimming with conviction, urges that this daily dose might just double the lifespan of your cells, sparing you from a host of degenerative conditions. Perhaps you would brush it off as hyperbole or wishful thinking, except that Pauling's track record, from reshaping chemistry to pioneering orthomolecular medicine, suggests there might be more to this claim than meets the eye. By the end of this immense exploration, you will not only learn the essence of what Pauling allegedly prescribed, but also uncover how modern science partially supports his logic. And if you persist all the way to the final paragraphs, you just might adopt a routine that can infuse new vigor into your cells, just as the man once rumored to champion vitamin therapy intended. Why Linus Pauling? He was no ordinary chemist. He is the only person to have won two unshared Nobel Prizes, one in chemistry, 1954, for his elucidation of the chemical bond, the other a Nobel Peace Prize, 1962, for his activism against nuclear weapons testing. Yet beyond those iconic feats, Pauling also launched an entire movement exploring how high-dose vitamins, particularly vitamin C, could ward off colds, heart disease, and even cancer. Despite backlash from certain medical quarters, he persevered, believing that standard nutritional guidelines grossly underestimated our body's real micronutrient needs. He insisted that our cells, battered by oxidative stress, toxins, and the daily wear of metabolism, require far more robust nutritional support. The rumored statement, "Drink this before meals so that your cells live twice as long," might be a distillation of that viewpoint, namely, that a simple, nutrient-packed beverage taken at a specific time can prime the body's metabolic machinery, letting cells repair and replicate more effectively. Though no single phrase penned in his official work states it exactly this way, the rumor has circulated in health and longevity circles, akin to an oral tradition that Pauling once championed a certain mixture or approach to unlock cellular longevity. What might that mixture be? Some accounts say it is as simple as a glass of water with dissolved vitamin C and perhaps a pinch of another nutrient, like magnesium or AB vitamin complex, consumed shortly before meals. Others claim it is a more exotic formula, laced with amino acids or flavonoids from specific fruits. The essence, if we trust the rumor, is that by ingesting a nutrient-rich solution ahead of eating, you optimize your digestive environment, reduce free radical formation, and give cells the micro-raw materials they need for robust regeneration. Modern diet advice sometimes advises a glass of water before meals to curb overeating, but Pauling's rumored rationale soared beyond calorie control. It was about buffering oxidative stress and stabilizing cellular pH or redox state, letting you endure the meal's metabolic load with minimal harm. Over decades, this protective effect accumulates, leading to a doubling of cellular lifespan, if you interpret the rumor poetically. Of course, that phrase might be an exaggeration. Doubling is dramatic. But the principle that you can significantly slow cellular aging is not so far-fetched, especially if synergy across multiple nutrients is in play. Still, to appreciate how that synergy might work, we should recall what it means for cells to live twice as long. Typically, a cell has a limited replicative capacity, shaped by telomere length and exposure to stressors. If we consistently reduce oxidative damage and inflammation, we might indeed extend the functional lifespan of cells or delay senescence. Pauling's entire stance on high-dose vitamin C was partly about quenching free radicals that accelerate cell damage. If you add the rumor that he recommended taking this beverage before meals, you see how it might further reduce the oxidative spike associated with digestion, especially if the meal is heavy in fats or refined carbs. That synergy might keep cells from incurring microinjuries that, repeated daily, sum to accelerated aging. So the rumor's essence: drink this, and your cells might last far beyond their usual span, aligns with the orthomolecular idea that the correct molecules in correct amounts can transform your health destiny. But we must ask, how does this rumor stand in the broader medical or historical record? Is there a direct statement from Pauling reading, "Drink this before meals, and your cells will live twice as long"? Probably not. We find no reference to that exact phrase in his official publications. The likely scenario is that in personal letters or interviews, Pauling made strong remarks about the synergy of nutrient timing, suggesting that a beverage loaded with specific vitamins and minerals could prime digestion and reduce meal-induced stress. Over time, admirers might have spun that into a simplified formula. Pauling says if you do this, your cells double their lifespan. Granted, that might overshoot his actual claims, but it captures the spirit of his confidence in nutritional orthomolecular therapy. In short, the rumored line might be a blend of real scientific logic plus enthusiastic paraphrasing. Now, how might we replicate the rumored formula in modern times? Let us craft a possible approach. You start with a base of water, preferably filtered or mild in mineral content. You dissolve a modest dose of vitamin C, say 500 milligrams, and add a small portion of magnesium citrate or a dash of potassium. Some sources mention Pauling liked adding citrus extracts or a bit of bioflavonoids for synergy. Then you swirl around, possibly sweeten with a drop of honey or stevia if needed, though Pauling often scorned excessive sugar. You let it stand a moment, so it's fully dissolved, and then about 15 to 20 minutes before your main meal, you sip it slowly, letting your stomach coat with this solution. The logic is that your body, now flush with antioxidants and essential ions, can handle the meal's oxidative load better, while also supporting metabolic pathways that revolve around these micronutrients. Over the months, that routine might reduce cumulative stress. If you also adopt an overall healthful diet, then you get a double synergy. The meal is less harmful and your body is more resilient. That, presumably, is the rumored blueprint to let your cells live twice as long. But is it credible to expect such dramatic results from just a beverage? Possibly if the beverage counters significant existing deficiencies. Many people live with borderline low vitamin C or magnesium levels, and day after day of mild deficiency fosters microdamage. By addressing it systematically, you halt that damage. Over decades, that might yield a substantial extension in healthy lifespan for cells. The doubling might be a metaphor. Meanwhile, Pauling never claimed this approach alone cures everything. But combined with balanced meals, stress management, and moderate exercise, it forms part of a robust strategy. That synergy resonates with modern longevity science, which underscores the interplay of nutrient sufficiency, reduced inflammation, stable glucose, and minimal oxidative bursts. Yet there's another dimension to consider: Pauling's passion for daily consistency. He believed random bursts of high-dose nutrients or sporadic healthy days do little. True transformation arises from unwavering routine. The rumor states that he never missed his before-meals beverage for years, turning it into a near-sacred ritual, akin to how some rely on coffee. If that's factual, it shows us that discipline was as crucial as the formula itself. In an era of impulse or convenience, replicating that discipline might be the biggest challenge for us. But if we trust the rumor's outcome, that it bestows a type of cellular vitality that stands out from the norm, maybe that challenge is worth confronting. Now let me pose our first question for reflection or comment. If a respected figure suggested that a simple nutrient-rich drink before each meal could, over years, slash your risk of degenerative ailments and keep your cells robust, would you incorporate it into your routine consistently? And if you're reluctant, what obstacle, skepticism, inconvenience, or some other factor might hold you back? Continuing, we might wonder if Pauling ever had direct evidence. Did he run small-scale experiments on friends or family, measuring biomarkers? Possibly. He was known to test vitamin C regimens on himself, noting how his colds became less frequent or milder. If he extended that mindset to daily mealtime beverage experiments, we might guess he recorded how he felt, how quickly small wounds healed, or even how his blood labs changed. Over time, if he saw a pattern of positive results, his confidence in the method would spike, leading to bold statements akin to, "If you do this, your cells can outlast their usual time." The rumor is that he teased such statements among close associates, though never enshrined them in a formal paper. Official journals might have resisted publishing claims about doubling cell life, unless verified by thorough research. But in personal circles, he might have spoken with more liberty. We also recall that Pauling lived to 93, which was remarkable for someone who faced controversies, stress, and the typical burdens of old age. That longevity might, in part, be attributed to his unwavering commitment to nutritional science. Some see it as evidence of his own success. Of course, genetics and other factors also play a role. But if the rumor is correct, perhaps daily pre-meal beverages were among the regimens he credited. Even if we lack formal correlation, the anecdotal synergy stands. A man dedicates decades to exploring nutritional optimization, culminating in an advanced age uncommonly free from many ailments that plague lesser-provisioned seniors. Now we turn to the second question for reflection or comment. Suppose you tried this rumored formula for a month, mixing a small dose of vitamin C, magnesium, maybe an herbal infusion, and drinking it 15 minutes before each main meal. Would you expect to notice improved digestion, higher energy, or subtle changes in how quickly you recover from minor illnesses? Or do you suspect you'd see no difference at all? Be honest in assessing your own body's signals. But how do we confirm that the rumored approach truly extends cell life? Modern cell culture studies show that higher antioxidant availability can reduce DNA damage, thus prolonging the replicative lifespan of certain cells in vitro. Meanwhile, in vivo data suggests that diets rich in certain micronutrients yield lower rates of chronic disease. So while we can't vow that you'll literally see your cells doubling their usual Hayflick limit, the general direction is plausible. Minimizing oxidative stress extends the functional lifespan of tissues. And if you multiply that effect by decades of consistent practice, the difference in later life might be dramatic. If you rarely fall ill, seldom experience inflammatory flare-ups, and keep strong function in your 70s or 80s, that might be the real testament to the rumor's validity. Let's remember that Pauling's claims about vitamin C preventing colds or heart disease were once seen as radical, yet subsequent research validated partial aspects. High vitamin C intake does, for instance, marginally reduce cold duration, boost immune parameters, and might help with certain vascular conditions. So a synergy of multiple nutrients plus timing might well magnify these partial benefits. Another dimension is the psychological aspect. Drinking something specific before each meal signals a ritual, a daily commitment to health. That ritual, psychologically, can prime you to eat more mindfully, choose better foods, or remain calm under stress. Pauling likely recognized that discipline is partly mental. By formalizing a small pre-meal routine, you embed a moment of reflection. I'm about to eat. I'll have my nutrient mixture first. In that reflection, you might inadvertently reset your portion control or sense of nutritional responsibility. Over time, that yields a ripple effect on your entire dietary pattern. Freed from unconscious or impulsive eating, your body remains stable and less prone to disease. So the rumored approach, while it might appear purely biochemical, also harnesses the power of habit psychology. We can glean an example. Suppose you adopt the rumored formula. Call it a small glass of water with half a teaspoon of pure vitamin C powder, a pinch of magnesium malate or citrate, and optional components like a fruit-based infusion or mild herbal teas. You swirl it, drink it, and wait a short while before your meal. In that wait, you sense a mild flush of energy or a tangy aftertaste that discourages immediate devouring of sugary or fatty items. Meanwhile, the vitamins are swiftly absorbed, preparing your gut for a more balanced meal uptake. You then proceed to your lunch or dinner with a calmer approach, perhaps guided by Pauling's principle of moderate portions and balanced macros. Days pass, you notice your sugar cravings slightly diminish, or you handle stress better. Weeks pass, you see that your skin might glow more, or minor colds bounce off you with less severity. Over months, these incremental gains can be powerful. That, presumably, is the path to cells living twice as long, or at least living significantly better. Some might ask if others from Pauling's circle tried it and reported success. The rumor states that some close friends, possibly other scientists or family members, did indeed see fewer ailments or more robust aging trajectories, fueling the myth that Pauling found a miracle drink to double cell life. The skepticism from mainstream medicine might revolve around the hyperbole of twice as long, but the underlying improvements could be real. And in a sea of varied diets, it might be easy to dismiss one man's approach as anecdotal. But the synergy of logic, partial evidence, and the precedent that Pauling was on as something with high-dose vitamins suggests we not ignore it outright. If it's harmless and might yield benefits, why not try? Moreover, we note that critics might point out potential downsides. Too much vitamin C can cause gastrointestinal upset for some, or the beverage might hamper medication absorption if not timed carefully. So we must tailor it to personal tolerance. But for most, moderate doses are benign. The rumored approach rarely suggests crazy megadoses beyond reason. It suggests consistent, smaller doses aligned with meal times. So it's hardly dangerous. The biggest challenge is, ironically, the discipline to keep it up day after day, meal after meal, especially when dining out or traveling. Thus, the concluding moral, Linus Pauling, drink this before meals so that your cells live twice as long, might be a romantic oversimplification of a deeper principle. Consistent, well-timed micronutrient intake can bolster your cell's resilience, especially if it merges with a balanced diet and an overarching healthy lifestyle. If you merge that with mild exercise, stable sleep, and stress regulation, you replicate much of what Pauling presumably lived and championed. Maybe your cells won't literally double their maximum replicative cycle, but you might stave off a host of degenerative ills, effectively living as though your cells were younger for a longer portion of your lifespan. If that is the net outcome, it more than justifies the daily ritual. Because in an era teeming with quick fixes, the idea that a simple beverage can anchor a deep transformation is refreshing, a hint that sometimes less complicated solutions remain valid. We close with our final question for reflection. If you decided to integrate a small nutrient drink, like a mild vitamin C and magnesium solution, before each main meal, do you see yourself reaping tangible benefits in energy, digestion, or overall well-being within a few weeks? And if you do notice improvements, would that encourage you to expand or refine the practice, perhaps exploring more synergy with other vitamins, antioxidants, or herbal extracts? So ends the narrative of Linus Pauling's rumor directive. Drink this before meals, so that your cells live twice as long. Whether the phrase is literal or symbolic, it stands as an echo of the man's broader orthomolecular vision, that we can shape our physiological destiny by giving our cells the exact molecules they need in the best possible timing. The impetus is on each of us to test this synergy in our own lives. If we do, we might discover that the difference between a body slogging through midlife ailments and one dancing lightly past them is a simple glass of mindful nutrients before each meal. In that sense, bridging the lessons of a Nobel laureate from a different century to our daily table might be less far-fetched than it appears. And if the rumor holds even partially true, might just yield a vitality that outlasts the ordinary arcs of aging.